Hello again! In the previous videos, we built our Venture Pratika's business model, prioritized our riskiest assumptions, and saw which ones to test first. Now we come to the most exciting part, designing our very first experiment. This is the experiment lab, the place where we turn assumptions into evidence. Pratika is still a new startup, and we've never created an experiment here before. Today we'll build the first one together. Every experiment follows a 5-step logic. You can see it in the header: belief, test, evidence, strength, confidence delta, and decision. Belief is the clear statement of the assumption we want to test, what we believe and why. Test is the method by which we'll challenge that belief. Evidence strength tells us how strong the evidence our chosen method produces is. Some methods give weak evidence, some strong. Confidence delta is the difference between our confidence before and after the experiment. That is, how much the experiment taught us. And decision is whether we'll persevere or pivot based on the result. FounderScope structures every experiment with these 5 steps, so no test is ever left to chance. Let's begin. We click the New Experiment button at the top right. The Create New Experiment window appears. So, where should we start? In the previous video, we saw the importance of prioritization, starting from the most critical and most uncertain assumption, that is, the urgently validate quadrant, is strategically the right move. For Pratika, this is an assumption at the heart of our value proposition. Do users practice more when they feel they won't be judged? If this is wrong, the whole product idea is shaken. So we dedicate our first experiment to it. The first field, hypothesis. From here, we choose which of all the assumptions across our canvases we'll test. We click the selection box. In the list that opens, the assumptions are grouped by source. Under value propositions, we select our riskiest assumption, judgment-free feedback. Now the belief statement field. Here we turn the assumption into a hypothesis. A good belief statement is clear, testable, and falsifiable. It answers who, in what situation, does what, and why. We must write a measurable claim, not a vague wish. For Pratika, we write, if users feel they aren't being judged while speaking, they will practice longer and more often in the app. Now the most important choice, the test method. FounderScope offers 14 different experiment methods. When you pick a method, it tells you its evidence strength and whether it's a discovery or a validation experiment. Let's walk through these methods one by one. Each fits a different question and a different stage. First, the customer interview. A discovery method that gives moderate evidence. It's best for understanding whether a problem is real and how the customer thinks. Indispensable at the early stage. Watch out. Don't ask leading questions. Ask about past behavior. Copilot can generate non-leading interview questions tailored to your chosen assumption. Second, the landing page. A validation method that gives moderate evidence. It's ideal for measuring demand when there's no product yet. You build a landing page and look at the sign-up rate. Watch out. Bring traffic from the right audience, or the result misleads. Copilot helps you draft the page copy and the conversion goal to measure. Third, the smoke test, or fake door. A validation method that gives moderate evidence. It measures demand for a feature that doesn't exist yet. The user clicks a button, and you count the interest. Watch out. Don't deceive the user. Gently note it's not ready yet. Copilot helps you decide which feature is worth a fake door test. Fourth, the concierge MVP. A validation method that gives strong evidence. You deliver the value manually, one-on-one. You see whether people really want it before automating the product. Watch out. Work deeply with a small number of users. Copilot helps you plan which steps to deliver by hand and what to measure. Fifth, the MVP experiment. A validation method that gives strong evidence but is costly. You test with a real, but minimal product with real users. Watch out. Keep it minimal. Don't add every feature. Copilot helps you prioritize which core feature belongs in the MVP. Sixth, the A/B test, a validation method that gives strong evidence. You compare two different versions at the same time and measure statistically which works better. Watch out. Without a large enough sample, the result is unreliable. Copilot helps you decide which variable to test and the sample size you need. Seventh, the Wizard of Oz, a validation method that gives strong evidence. The user feels they're interacting with an automated product, but behind the scenes, you do the work by hand. It's the smartest way to test the experience without building expensive infrastructure like AI. Copilot helps you design which part to stage. Eighth, competitor analysis, a discovery method that gives weak evidence. You understand the market by examining what competitors do and where the gaps are. Watch out. It's not enough alone. It requires validation with the customer. Copilot suggests which competitors and which factors to compare. Ninth, the survey, a discovery method that gives weak evidence. It collects fast, scalable data from a wide audience. Watch out. What people say differs from what they do, so validate the survey with behavior. Copilot helps you prepare unbiased survey questions and target the right audience. 10th, the prototype test, a validation method that gives moderate evidence. With a clickable design, you test the idea and the flow before coding the product. Watch out. Give real tasks to real users. Copilot suggests which flows to test first in the prototype. 11th, pre-sales, a validation method that gives strong evidence. You offer the product for sale before it's ready and measure willingness to pay in the strongest form of evidence: real money. Watch out. Give a clear refund promise. Copilot helps you design the pre-sale offer and price points. 12th, the usability test, a validation method that gives moderate evidence. You observe how easily the user uses the product and where they get stuck. Watch out. Don't guide them. Just watch. Copilot helps you prepare the test scenarios and the steps to observe. 13th, field observation, a discovery method that gives strong evidence. By watching the user in their own real environment, you discover needs they never mention. Watch out. Record it as is without interpreting. Copilot helps you structure what to observe and how to take notes. And 14th, the simulation, a validation method that gives moderate evidence. Without setting up a real test, you forecast likely outcomes with models and scenarios. It's especially useful for financial and operational assumptions. Copilot helps you build the simulation's assumptions and scenarios. Pratika's first assumption is a discovery question. Does the fear of judgment really block practice? The best way to understand this is to talk to users directly. So we choose the customer interview as our method. As you can see, the moderate evidence and discovery labels appear. Now the success metric. This is the concrete numerical indicator by which we'll measure the experiment's result. A good metric is objective and leaves no room for interpretation. For Pratika, we write, the share of interviewed users who name the fear of judgment as their primary barrier. Next, the success criteria. This is the threshold the metric must reach for the experiment to count as successful. It's set before we begin, so we don't fool ourselves afterward. For Pratika, at least 7 of 10 users must name the fear of judgment as their primary barrier. Right below are duration and start date. Duration sets how long we'll run the experiment. The start date sets when we begin. 2 weeks is enough for interviews. Now a very important field, the decision rule. This is where we write in advance what we'll do based on the result. It prevents emotional decisions. For Pratika, if the threshold is met, we treat the value proposition as validated and move to a prototype. If not, we redefine the problem. Finally, the initial confidence score. This is where we mark, as a percentage, how confident we are in this belief before running the experiment. The goal is to measure how much this score changes after the experiment, that is, the confidence delta. Low confidence means high uncertainty, exactly what we should be testing. For Pratika, we mark our initial confidence at 30%. Everything is ready. We press the Create Experiment button, and our first experiment is recorded. There it is. Our experiment now appears in the Planned column. The experiment lab has 3 columns. Planned, experiments we've designed, but not yet started. Running, experiments currently in the field, collecting data. And completed, experiments that have concluded and taught us something. As experiments move across these 3 columns, our startup advances from assumptions toward evidence. We've successfully designed our first experiment. In upcoming videos, we'll see step-by-step how to start this experiment, how to track it while running in the field, and how, when it concludes, to record what we learned and update our confidence score. Pratika's journey from idea to evidence has now truly begun. We'll continue in the next video,